Welcome back to Endangered Species Spotlight. This week we are talking about the giant manta ray. The giant manta ray is the largest species of ray in the world, and these guys are very, very large. They've been observed growing up to 7 feet across from wingtip to wingtip and 9 feet long, including the tail. That is one big motherfucker. They typically prefer open oceans and aren't that often seen near the coast. They typically are very migratory and don't stay in one place for that long, just kind of going with the ocean currents and following places with the highest amount of plankton, which is the food that they prefer to eat. They are found in the northern hemisphere, but they do tend to prefer the warmer tropical and temperate waters, so not super cold. They are found mainly around oceanic islands, but again, they prefer the open ocean with a large availability of food. And unlike stingrays that have that venomous barb at the end of their tail, manta rays do not sting, are not toxic at all, and are pretty much completely harmless to humans. And unfortunately, they are classified as being endangered due to multiple factors. One of the main reasons for them being endangered is overfishing, both intentional and accidental. There is a small market for manta ray fishing, which does include the giant manta ray, but most often they're caught as accidental bycatch, getting tangled in nets from trawlers and such, and accidentally die when they're caught in these nets, even though they weren't the targeted fish. Another reason is pollution. They are filter feeders, and they just kind of float around swimming in the water and eating largely microscopic plankton. However, microplastics have become a very large concern because they tend to bioaccumulate in large animals such as these manta rays. We don't really know the full effects that these microplastics will have on the rays or other large marine animals, but we can expect that it will not be good. Another concern that these guys are facing is climate change. They're not as vulnerable to the changing water temperatures as some other marine organisms. However, the phytoplankton that makes up the majority of the giant manta ray's diet are vulnerable to climate change. And by affecting the phytoplankton population, the rays will have a change in their food source and then thus themselves be more affected by the climate change, albeit indirectly. Now, there are, of course, conservation efforts going on to save the giant manta ray. They do survive in captivity, however, they have a rather long gestational period, and they only produce one pup at a time, so captive breeding, while it could be successful, does take quite a while. There are some things that you as an individual can do to help save the manta ray, largely being disposing of fishing equipment properly. If you do fish in coastal areas or anywhere on the ocean, make sure you're disposing of that equipment properly, as well as trying to reduce your plastic waste, and if possible, go clean up the beaches if you're around on the coast or anything. Just go spend a weekend cleaning up trash off the beaches, as well as just not littering yourself, but that should kind of be self-explanatory. Now, these measures aren't specifically just to help the giant manta ray. This is beneficial to all sorts of marine life, so if possible, just be mindful about your plastic waste, about your ecosystem and your environment around you, and it will benefit more than just you. It will benefit pretty much the entire ocean.